the lively conversation, but it is, well, now it's 6:31. And so we're going to go ahead and get this meeting started. Mary, will you please call the roll?
Here.
Here?
Here.
Here.
All right. If you would please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the moment of contemplation and reflection. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, moving on, agenda item 2.1 is to adopt the agenda. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening meeting as presented?
I move to adopt the agenda of April 13th, 2026 as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to approval of the minutes from prior meetings for March 2nd and March 6th. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
I'll make those two previous minutes, or all three of them, the special minutes from the second and the regular minutes from the second, and special meeting minutes for the 6th of March.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes?
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
And Mr. Powell?
Yes.
All right, moving on to recognitions. Mr. Lavender.
Good evening, President Hayes, governing board members. Happy Monday night. First we'll be doing tonight is our Rotary Students of the Month. Representing the Rotary Club tonight is Ron Torrio from Ivanhoe Electric. So thank you for coming tonight, sir. And if the first recognition, I'm going to introduce Mr. Hubbard, who will recognize our Vista Grande Student of the Month. So Mr. Hubbard.
Good evening, Mr. Lavender, governing board, public. It is our wonderful pleasure this evening to recognize Mrs. Rotary Student of the Month as Miss Layla Guy. Come on up here, Layla. I'm going to read what the school counselors and others put together about her real quick and try and embarrass her a little bit. Dedicated leader and high-achieving student, she has made a lasting impact both academically and extracurricular-wise at Vista Grande High School. Four-year member and president of the Student Council, has led initiatives to strengthen school culture and community, includes her involvement in National Honor Society, Students Against Destructive Decisions, Student Athletic Advisory Committee, Varsity Cheerleading, and Dance Company. She has earned the distinction as Vista Grande Salutatorian as the #2 ranked student in her class, and is pursuing her Associates in Liberal Arts Studies at CAC and earning Dean's List honors at CAC as well. Her academic success has led to over 75 college admission offers. She has over 515 hours of community service, demonstrating a strong commitment to our community. She has also helped raise over $3,000 for the school and local community initiatives. She is best known for being resilient, compassionate, and driven, and she brings energy and positivity to all that she does. Outside of school, she enjoys sports, dancing, baking, and working at the recreation center and city pool. She plans to pursue a degree in broadcast journalism with a focus on sports media, with the goal of working for organizations like the WWE, NFL, or ESPN to inspire others through storytelling. She would like to thank her parents, family, friends, Mr. Sheeler, her school principals, and Ms. Osmer for their support for these years. I personally have gotten to work with Layla quite a bit. And I will tell you one thing that makes a kid stand out. And when a kid is always after positive things and doesn't take no for an answer in pursuit of positive things, they're going to do amazing things in this world. And that is Layla to the T. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Next is Dr. Lineberry, who will recognize the Casa Grande Union's Student of the Month. Dr. Lineberry.
All right, Governing Board, good evening. Superintendent Lavender, public. I have the pleasure tonight of recognizing one of our outstanding students at Union, Miss Maeve Martinez. Maeve, come on up here so we can embarrass you. So Maeve's an outstanding student whose dedication, leadership, and compassion make her truly deserving of the Rotary Student of the Month. Throughout high school, she's challenged herself with honors and AP courses, excelling academically and earning the Academic Excellence Award all 4 years. She's also explored a variety of career pathways through CTE programs, participating in agri-science for 2 years, biotech for 1 year, and welding fundamentals for 1 year. Deeply involved in campus, May has served the football team as the football team's head manager all 4 years and has been an active member of Key Club and Student Council, holding leadership roles as junior class treasurer and senior class president. Additionally, she is the member of the National Honor Society, Link Crew, and Rendon, and has served as president of Mu Alpha Theta for the past 2 years. Maeve credits her parents, Sarah and Nathan Martinez, for their constant support and encouragement, which have been instrumental to her success. After graduation, she plans to attend Central Arizona College through the Pinell Promise, then transfer to NAU to pursue to pursue an accelerated Doctor of Physical Therapy program. Welding teacher and coach Mark Luna shares, Maeve is an exceptional student. Not only is she great in the classroom, but she has a huge heart and is always willing to help. Maeve was always there to help our football team, from helping us fundraise, baking desserts, to helping with community service. She always found the time to be there. She's an amazing person and truly deserves this honor. And I can tell you that Maeve walks down the hall and I feel like I work for Maeve. Maeve is at the school a lot. She does a tremendous amount for our school and our school community. And it's an honor to present you with this award tonight, Maeve. Congratulations.
Next is Mrs. Diaz, who will recognize our PACE Student of the Month. Mrs. Diaz.
Good evening, governing board members and Superintendent Lavender. I'm honored to be able to recognize Julian Jennis as the PACE Student of the Month. So I was lucky enough to have an opportunity to talk with Julian today about himself, and even in this quick conversation, he left an impact on me that I know is going to stay for a very long time. His words inspired me to self-reflect. They gave insight to the core values and belief of a young person who has a very bright future. All of the excellence we see from Julian every day at PACE just made perfect sense. And tonight I am the lucky one who gets to share that inspiration with all of you. Some of the things that staff shared about Julian. Julian is one of those students who stands out, not just for his academic performance, but for the way he carries himself every day. He is sharp, intellectually curious, and consistently produces excellent work. Julian is committed to showing up, putting in effort, engaging in learning, and never settling for anything less than his best. I had read that before our conversation, and then in our conversation, I learned that outside of school, Julian competes in mixed martial arts, which includes wrestling, kickboxing, jujitsu, and catch wrestling. And when I asked him what he enjoys most about it, here's the inspiring part. He shared that it's the values that he's surrounded with, the drive, the expectation to put oneself beyond limits, and how much he values being around others who all embrace his same mindset. I am already a champion when I do those things. In that moment, it was like there was just so much clarity to like watching him in action. Staff also shares, at PACE, we consistently see someone who carries himself with integrity. He treats both peers and staff with respect, and in our school environment, that consistency of character speaks volumes. When Julie and I were talking, he shared that something he tries to do is put himself in other shoes. And he said, and that I'm not just talking about humans. I mean, I'm talking about animals and insects and the environment. And it was so clear in that moment that compassion is one of his core values, and he chooses to live by that every day and lets that show through with his words and actions. Julian has a very strong work ethic, whether it be in his academics or as a student athlete. He is diligent, responsible, and committed to everything he does. He approaches his responsibilities with focus and consistency, and just has a high level of dependability. Julian represents the values we strive to build at PACE: respect, effort, growth, compassion. It is clear that whatever he chooses to do moving forward, he's going to do big things. Congrats, Julian. Keep up the great work.
Next is Lisa Miller, our CTE director, will recognize our CTE students of the month. Mrs. Miller.
Good evening, Governing Board, Superintendent Lavender, public. It's very nice to see so many people out to support the students. So this evening, I'm honoring marketing students from both campuses, and we have two very bright young men to honor. So I'm going to start with Union High School just to change it up for a minute. And so we're honoring Miles Jones. So Miles, come on up. Miles' parents are Keisha Collins and Mr. Leon Jones. And these are the words from Mr. Carter, his teacher. Miles is an amazing young man. In the 2 years that he's been in our marketing and DECA program, he has grown tremendously. He's been active in our DECA chapter and has grown leaps and bounds in the marketing program. He earns top grades in the Marketing 2 class, and he has worked in our lab, the Cougar Den DECA store, 3 days a week. He has become the go-to person in the lab and store, and he is consistently completing his work in class and in lab, always asks if there's anything else that needs to be done or if there's anything he can help with. He is definitely Mr. Dependability, and he even offers suggestions on how to improve operations in the marketing lab. His character as a young adult is something to be proud of. He is always kind, polite, and has a positive attitude while being very respectful. With all of these qualities mentioned, I would love to have a classroom full of students just like Miles. So congratulations, Miles. I'll shake your hand and then we'll get a picture. And I know he has quite the fan club here this evening. So nice to see everybody. If you guys want to come up, we can pose with him for a picture. Mr. Carter, do you want to join us?
I just want to mention he has 2 dads.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so make sure everyone's good. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
And the next young man is from Vista Grande, and that is Brandon Simmons. And Brandon's here with his parents as well. He's been named the April CTE Marketing Student of the Month by his teacher, Mrs. Hunter. As a dedicated member of the CTE Marketing Program at Vista Grande High School, Brandon works in the Spartan Store, our school-based enterprise, where he is consistently demonstrating responsibility, professionalism, and strong customer service skills. He gets along well with everyone. He treats customers and classmates with respect and is always willing to help whenever needed. Brandon's positive attitude and teamwork make him an all-around great student and true asset to the program. Congratulations, Brandon. You are the star, so.
1, 2, 3.
Next is our April Employee of the Month, and I'm going to ask Mr. Jason Shear, who is our social studies teacher at Vista Grande, to please join me along with his principal, Mr. Hubbard. I'm going to say a few words and then turn it over to Mr. Hubbard. I've gotten to know Mr. Shear through his work with We the People. I've enjoyed very much the last 2 years going over and participating as a judge and working with the students. And we're excited this year that his class got chosen to go back to Washington, D.C. and participate in the National We the People competition. They'll be flying out this Thursday morning out of Phoenix, flying to Denver and on to Dulles, participating this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Monday, and then flying home Monday night. But Mr. Shear, this trip, this program wouldn't have been possible without all your hard work and everything you've done with these students. And so I want to, number one, congratulate you for being the Employee of the Month, but also congratulate you for your work there. And then Mr. Hubbard, I'll let you take it from here.
It's been an honor to work with Mr. Scherer. To be honest, one of the things that I think is super important, and I hope that all the students and staff learn at Vista Grande High School, is that every single member of a team is valuable, and you just have to find the right places to highlight the good work that they do. Everyone contributes to the community and the life that is Vista Grande. Mr. Scherer works in a very outgoing, loud on occasion social studies department, to be fair. And there are a lot of voices that compete for attention around him for all the great things that that department does. And he has quietly always just done a masterful job with We the People and supporting everyone else in the department without looking to take credit or bang on his own chest or do the things that you would expect when you want to be seen. And so I think it's important that we recognize him. I'll add on, we don't have the plaque or award tonight, but I was contacted by the Arizona Bar Foundation as well. He is the recipient for this year of the only high school instructor to get the John J. Ross Memorial Award for excelling government teaching and law in school. So he will be receiving that award as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
He started a trend. First A, and computer.
Jason, Lisa, best of luck back in Washington, D.C. Bring us home a championship. Yes, ma'am. Oh, I thought you wanted to say something.
We just.
Oh, all right. We just wanted to thank everybody. I don't have like itemized list of all the people that donated to help us raise money for the trip. I wanted to say thank you to everybody and the board, the companies in this town that contributed to help us out. It's greatly appreciated. So I just wanted to say thanks to everybody that helped out. And still taking donations.
Just, if I may, got one last recognition that I would just like to do on a personal note regarding our students. It's my fault for not getting their names, but a few weeks ago, two Vista Grande band students, so Mr. Moore would probably know who they are. We're going door to door looking for folks who are willing to let them do yard work for community service hours for their band leadership studies. And at first I was thinking no, because I got kids that can that can do that. But then I thought, no, they're out here trying to get these hours done. And so I just wanted to take a moment. It was a young man and a young lady who did a fantastic job, by the way, far better than I could have done. And I'm guessing that's probably because, you know, their body's flexible in ways that mine isn't anymore to be able to be hunched over like that on the ground for a couple hours. And it was a relatively hot day too. And so I just wanted to acknowledge them in front of the community and just encourage everyone here tonight to help our students get their hours done, because they're definitely out there needing them and are willing to work hard for them. And so I just encourage you to support them in their endeavors. Thank you. Moving on, superintendent's report.
You want to dismiss our guests?
All right, that's right. At this time, we'll go ahead and anyone who was just here to support someone receiving an award tonight, you are free to leave. If you'd like to stay, you're more than welcome to do so, but you may leave at this time.
Kind of. Okay.
Right?
Are you at church?
All right, now.
Well, I sure know how to clear a room, don't I?
Wow.
Am I ready?
Yeah, sure. Unless somebody wants to move up front, so we're not so far away.
No, they don't. So just a couple items to share with you, President Hayes, board members. I am so proud of our staff. And each year we do Teacher Appreciation Week, May 8th, 4th through the 8th, which will be before our next formal board meeting. And so we are so grateful and indebted to all of the individuals that come in and support our students. And so I know Mrs. Kortson is working on some ideas for that week. We'll be communicating. If any of you want to come in and help recognize staff, we'd certainly welcome it. But this is a special time to say thank you to all of our staff for everything they've done this year. Also, an exciting time of the year is our scholarship season. And Mr. Powell and I attended the Pinal County Scholars Dinner on Friday night, where we saw several of our students recognized with scholarships. We know Rotary's event is coming soon for their scholarships, as well as Pinal 40. We also know that Rotary is having their fundraising dinner, I believe it is this Saturday night. They use to raise money for these scholarships, and Pinal 40's having their dinner on May 2nd. But these organizations play a vital part in getting our students funds. I know on Friday night, over $50,000 was passed out in scholarships to our students. So also want to congratulate everybody in the district for our A grade, for the district receiving an A grade. We already were recognizing Vista Grande as Mr. Hubbard is walking in for their A grade, and they had a celebration the Friday before spring break. It was a wonderful celebration. I know Mrs. Harrington was out there. I can't remember everyone else who was out there, Mr. Wilkie, but it was a great celebration. Again, thank you, Kevin. And also that day that Cast Grand Union did their B celebration, believe. So we're extremely proud of the A grade that our school district received. Tomorrow is day 2 of our state testing schedule. Tomorrow, our 11th grade teachers will be taking their ACT test, and our 9th grade students will be taking their Aspire Part 1 test. And so sophomores and seniors will be staying home tomorrow and doing distance learning from home on some assignments. And then on Wednesday will be day 2 of the Aspire test for our 9th graders. And sophomores, juniors, and seniors will be staying home and doing distance learning those days. Want to give a shout out to all three of our school staffs for the wonderful job they do organizing this testing season, and thank them for all they do. And also tomorrow is the Pinal County Career Expo from 9 to 1 o'clock at the Single Peak campus. This is an opportunity for students to go out and see some of the exciting career fields that exist, or some of the career fields that will be generated through new technology, AI, and things like that. A shout out to Vista Grande's ROTC air rifle team. They went 8-0 this season and won their championship. Also, congratulations to Vista Grande's math team that went out to the CAC math contest. There were about 50 students that went, and Vista Grande got first place in the county. So congratulations to them as well. And then in the last few weeks, we've had 3 teachers from our staff, our district, recognized as Pinal County's Teachers of the Week through the Casa Grande Dispatch, and that is Rhonda Carter, Sabrina Packard, and Deshaun Austin. So congratulations to each of them. And also next Friday, April 24th, will be PACE Impact Day. They'll be doing various activities there for their students in the community. It'll be a good day for people to come out and get to know the PACE staff and that. Also on Saturday, the Arizona NASA Space Grant Consortium is meeting up at the ASU campus that's on the corner of McDowell and Scottsdale Road. And Casa Grande Union High School was the only high school in the state invited to present at this space a symposium there. And they will be coming to our next board meeting to share with you some of the exciting work they will be doing. This last week, I'll be honest, I turned off the golf and watched the spaceship re-enter our atmosphere. It was just so exciting, and the precision in which those astronauts figured out exactly how that trip would go, how many miles, at what time they would be the places is just so incredible. And very proud of our NASA, and I'm very proud of our students for the work that they're doing as well. Prom is this Saturday night at both Casa Grande Union, which they're meeting out at the Pinal County Fairgrounds, and Vista Grande that will be meeting in their gymnasium. And also Academic Awards Night. Casa Grande Union will be on May 13th. And then on Vista will be on May 8th. And I'll ask Mary to send out a special note to all of you if you have not received invitations from the schools yet, letting you know on those important events. Dr. Lineberry, do you mind coming forward, please, sir? I also wanted to publicly thank Dr. Lineberry for his 3 years of service as principal of Casa Grande High School. Last week, I had a good conversation with Jody from the Casa Grande Dispatch, and just kind of reflecting on his 3 years and remembering the town hall when he first got hired, in the 3-hour town hall of people with concerns about Casa Grande High School. And one of the concerns was when a mother said Casa Grande High School is where kids go for their dreams to die. And how heartbreaking that was to hear that we want our students to be to love their school, to be inspired by their school. That certainly wasn't what we wanted to hear. Chris heard it that night, and Chris has worked hard to change that perception. And so as we are moving forward, some of the things that I'm stressing is Casa Grande is on the right track. And so we need a continuation of the fine work that Chris has done and moving us forward and getting us over that last hurdle to the A grade. And we need to continue on the momentum. But Chris, I thank you for all of your hard work and dedication. We're wishing you nothing but the best as you and your family talk about what are the next steps and where you want to go. But thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So
thank you. If I could, I told Jeff that this past 3 years have been the most challenging of my career. And it's a long career. I've been doing this. I've been a principal since 2005, but they've also been the three most rewarding. I definitely sleep well at night. But what those kids and that staff did at that school in the past 3 years is remarkable. And to be able to be a part of that is truly incredible. And I am very grateful for the opportunity to have been here. I was telling somebody about that comment, this is where dreams go to die. And they said, did you run? And I said, my instinct was to go towards it, not away from it. And I've been very blessed that I have people around me who go towards that also. And I love this team. I love this community. I love my school and my staff and my students. And I'm very grateful that you were kind enough to give me this opportunity. So thank you.
And I wanted to highlight 2 comments that were made on our social media post. One was from a young girl named Kylie who was involved and got shot during the unfortunate shooting in November of 2023. And at the sentencing of the person that shot Haley, she mentioned that she would have never graduated from high school if it wasn't for her amazing principal, Dr. Lineberry. She recorded a beautiful message for him that he will be able to keep for the rest of his life that I asked her to do. But she jumped on right away on whenever day we post that, Wednesday or Thursday. But there was another person that said Chris Lineberry is the best thing that ever happened to Casa Grande High School. And you think about 103-year history, that's quite a bold statement. And so congratulations, Chris, for the positive that you've received. And again, thank you.
Thank you.
Chris.
I just wanted to jump in and personally thank you as well. Both my kids go to Union. My daughter's now a junior, so you were there from the start of her starting high school. And I was nervous for her to go there at first before you got there, knowing the history of the perception that was there. But both my kids have had just an amazing experience so far, and they will miss you, and I'll miss you. And I just wanted to personally thank you. So
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to matters reserved for board action. Number 5.1, superintendent's contract. Is there anyone on the board that has any questions, statements, or anything like that they wish to discuss? No?
well, this
Okay.
is a 2-year term, right? That's what.
Correct. So it'll be for the next 2 school years.
My contract now actually goes through June 30th, 2027. This is extending it 1 year to June 30th, 2028.
Okay. All right. If there are no other questions or comments, then I will receive a motion to approve.
Mr. President, I would move to approve the 2026 through 2028 superintendent's contract as presented, and thank you for everything you've done so far.
Thank you, sir.
Agreed. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mr. Harrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes. You're all right.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes, if I could, I want to thank the board for all of their support, but I also want to be transparent with everybody. When I first came here, I thought I'd be out of here in July of 2024. It's been a great time, enjoyed every minute of it, but this will be the last extension that I do ask for. And at the end of this, June 30th, 2028, I will be retiring. So you're well aware of my intention to retire at that time, and also so we can start talking about a transition plan in the coming months.
Okay.
You're not allowed. All right. Sure. Moving on, 5.2, ASBA Policy Advisory 961 through 1046. This is a motion to approve the first reading.
I'll make a motion, we approve the first.
I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes. All right, 5.3, fiscal year 2027 IBN recommendations for salary and benefits. Mr. Lavender.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. I'm going to be referring to two documents. One is up on the board now, and then there's a second document as well that is titled IBN. Well, that's the IBN salary. The other is titled Budget Planning for Fiscal Year 27. And I called it a gap year. And one of the things I want to talk about before I make these recommendations is what do I mean by gap year? And as Mrs. Price and I worked and get prepared to meet with IBN last week, there are some things that we had shared with them. Number one, our district this year lost Proposition 123 funding, which is the state sale of state land. And this year it costs us about $300,000. The legislature has been trying to recover that money for the school districts. Both the legislature and the governor has indicated a desire to do so, but they've yet to come up with an agreement to even put that on the ballot. So we continue to wonder when and if that money will ever be returned to funding. We did receive a couple one-time funding resources this year, but that costs us about $300,000 a year. So as hopefully one day we'll get it back, but we have to continue to operate from the position of it may never come back. And some of the other one-time funding things that we did receive this year may not be there in the future. Number two is the opening of the American Leadership Academy on the corner of Cox Road and McCartney Road next year. Will be a K-12 school. And what's going to be the impact if they in fact do open their doors in July of 2027. I don't know if that's how reasonable it is to do that, given when you drive out there now and you're not seeing dirt move and how long it takes to build the school. But the reality is that the school is coming, whether it's going to be here in July of 2027 or another time. And it's going to impact our school district and the elementary district as well. So us preparing for what the impact may be. If it's a 500 student loss for the school district, and that's a $3.1 million loss in funding for those students every year. And so that's one of the things that Mrs. Price and I are going to have to spend a considerable amount of time this next year is watching what's going on at ALA and the enrollment and things like that. Number three is the $40 million identified in facility needs is not going to go away. As we are still working with the state to fill in the drainage situation at Union. The $7.5 million loan that you approved last month through lease financing is going to help, but it's not going to even scratch the surface of what we need. And so without other sources of capital funding, we're going to have challenges as more and more things fail. And so keeping that in mind, and where will we find the funding and things like that. The 2% annual adjustment that the legislature gives us for inflation, obviously our inflation right now is higher than 2%, especially what we've seen in the last 5 to 6 weeks. And so, but once the state approved the annual 2%, that's been the legislative target. And so also Proposition 301, which I'm asking you to approve tonight, some significant spending on that. This is not recession proof. It is based on, I think it's a 1/4 cent sales tax on all money that's spent this year. We're receiving an increase from $842 per student to $883. So it's going to have a healthy balance next year, but it's not recession proof. So if the numbers go down into the 700s, and again, Proposition 301 money is money that is designated to support classrooms, and so classroom teachers and staff that work with teachers. As an administrator, as office staff, they are not eligible for those funds. So about half of our district employees are eligible for district Proposition 301 funds, and about half are not. The 10% override funding, which is about $3.5 million right now, runs out in 2028. It'd be a 2-year phase-out process if we do not pass it by 2028. Our plan is to ask you to approve to go to the voters in 2027 and see if we could get it approved. If we're successful then our plan will probably ask you to approve a bond election for November of 2028 and so that's kind of our planning right now. Without approval of those 2 critical elections, we're going to be hurting, especially with what happens with 301 and that. And then one of the bills that's in the legislature right now is a bill that 60% of all funds have to go directly into the classroom, which is going to be a real challenge for this school district, given our large geographical area that we cover. And some of those right now we're about a 48% average. So to get to 60% average, the bill says it has to go up 0.5% each year. So we're looking at about a 20-year transition to get it to 60%. But if we don't meet those thresholds, then we lose that funding. And so those are some things that we have to continue to keep in mind as we move forward. And so when you see the proposal that we're bringing you tonight, you will see that both Veronica and I were very conservative when it came to our M&O more side of the budget and pushed the outer limits a little bit in the 301 funds there. And so going next, these are the recommendations that we are recommending. Number 1 is a $2,000 base increase to all certified administrative salary columns. The BA range would change from 52,988 to 54,988, with the top number remaining the same. Why are we not recommending to push that out? Because staff can move over to the next column and get some raises there. We're recommending an increase from 14 to 20 years for like experience. So if I've been a classroom teacher in the elementary district for 16 years and transfer over, we're recommending we now give 16 years experience, not 14 years experience, up to 20 years experience at $500 a year, which could be a net increase of $10,000 for experience being brought in. These are all what I would call strategies to make us more marketable, because we are competing against school districts that go to school 4 days a week. So what are some things that we can do salary-wise to maintain our marketability? For our classified exempt staff, to increase from $450 to $500 for classified like experience. That word recommendation, I thought I had taken out, but that shouldn't be there. Our substitutes, we rely on substitute teachers to come in and support us, and we're recommending an increase from $150 a day to $160 a day for substitute. And for those that have been here for 10 days or longer, we're recommending an increase from $200 to $210 a day. My guess, when you add all this together, this will be about a $125,000 increase in ongoing. When I mean ongoing, if we do it this year, then it keeps going into the next fiscal year, and so forth. The second is a base pay increase of 1% for all eligible employees. And the total ongoing cost for this would be $248,000 for our maintenance and operations budget, and $30,000 for our 301 budget. And again, that would carry on to the next year and the next year unless we decided to lower these amounts. The retention stipend for all staff that returned on July 24th, 2026, this would be all staff who were in the district that came back for the following year. The one-time cost for maintenance and operation would be $352,800, and for 301, $315,000. But these would be one time. It doesn't mean it carries on to the next year. And then increase in performance pay. Currently, right now, all staff receive $1,000 in performance pay for meeting the criteria of a satisfactory evaluation. We're recommending an increase to $2,000 for those staff who do not receive 301 funds, and $500 increase for those who do receive 301 funds. For those that do not receive 301 funds, the increase in maintenance and operations would be $249,600. It'd be a one-time deal, and for the $500 for 301, it would be a one-time cost of $116,000. And then finally is to increase the base pay 301 funding for all certified staff. For all of our certified staff that receive 301 funding, they receive a pocket of money from M&O and a pocket of money for 301. You combine that together, and that might give them their salary of $70,000, $60,000. This year, all of our staff that were eligible received $14,841. With the recommendation in number 2 to increase the base, that $14,841 would go to $14,990. And then we're recommending the base increase of $1,400, which would be 1.5% for any employee making $96,000. And $96,000 would be to increase it to $16,390. The total ongoing cost to M301 would be $336. And so what this kind of looks like in overall dollar figures, ongoing versus one time for M&O, you'll see that we have $373,000 in ongoing expenditures we're recommending, and $602,000 in one-time expenditures, for an increase this year of funding of spending in M&O of $976,000. For 301, we're recommending ongoing of $366 and a one-time of $431 for a total of $798. So overall, our recommendations are for one-time spending is just over $1 million, and for ongoing is $740 for an increase of 1.7 for $1,774,000. Now, what's that look like in the big picture? Mary, if you could get me to the other slide, please.
This one, right?
So this next sheet is our budget planning. So for this fiscal year, our budgeted amount was $45,902,000. That's the budget that we sent, that we approved in March. In August or July, we approved a budget of $46,162,765. Why did we lessen our budget by a little over $200,000 lost of ADM this year with our student decline in enrollment a little bit? Our fiscal year carryover starting this year on July 1st was $7,300,000. Our revenue that we expect to get this year from the state is $38,598,000. And our anticipated expenditures this year are between $40,802,000 and $39,402,000. One of the things we do is we issue purchase orders throughout the year, and some of these we don't know how much they're going to spend. And so we have the July 1st. So that's why I can't give you an exact figure right now. And then our expected fiscal year carryover for 2026 will be somewhere between $5.1 and $6.5 million. Now, if it's 5.1, that means all the purchase orders we have right now will be spent. And we know some of these purchase orders are going to come back. And if I was a betting man, and I last year won a good chunk of money betting Rory McIlroy to win the Masters, and I should have bet him again this year, I would estimate our carryover is going to be about $6 million when it's all said and done. But until we hit that a number, it could be anywhere from 5.1 to 6.5. So moving into next year, I'm again assuming our carryover is going to be $6 million. That will make our budgeted amount $45,370,000. That $45 million is our carryover and what we expect to receive from the state. There's our $6 million carryover, and our projected revenue is $39,370,805. Again, that factors in the 2% inflationary increase. Our anticipated expenditures next year are 39,902,000, and you will see I put in parentheses a minus 531,000. Before any of the recommendations I gave you tonight, if we just do what we did last year, we're going to spend about $531,000 more next year than we received this year. And then, but the next thing I did is I put the green numbers in there, and you will see that with the increase in the the $740,000 increase, then it's up to $740 million, and then our expected drop in carryover will be $905,000 for the next year, and then 602 ongoing expenses, and I'm expecting a fiscal year carryover going into fiscal year 28 of $4.4 million. And I realize that taking our carryover down from 6 million to 4.4 is a lot of money, but we all know this is very challenging times, and our teachers are struggling from paycheck. Our staff is struggling from paycheck to paycheck as prices are going up. And so I was clear when I talked to IDN, especially when we get to the next one on 301. If we don't meet some of these targets, then obviously I might have to come to the board to lower things. But right now, what I want to do is provide the financial support that our staff needs for the job that they're doing. So when we look at 301 classroom funds, we're anticipating a $1.1 million carryover, $4.6 million in anticipated revenue this year with the $483 per student. So for the base pay of $1,481 plus the benefits is $3.5 million. And then for the performance pay is $360. And so if we did nothing and didn't increase and did what we did last year, we're at $1.8 million carryover. Well, that's a lot of money to carry over in 301. And so that's why we're recommending the one-time expenditures and things that we're doing that to get that carryover still down to $1 million. So if the recession hits and the money comes down, we still have $1 million to cover that. I'm hesitant to go down any lower than that. And so by this, we're providing all of our staff in a range of about 3.5% to 5% raises depending on their income levels. Obviously, the staff that makes a little bit less money, the $1,500 retention stipend and the $2,000 performance pay, or the $1,500 performance pay, depending on what classification, that's going to be a higher number than somebody making $60,000 versus somebody that's making $80,000, or somebody making $20,000 versus somebody that's making $40,000. And so again, I want to thank Veronica for all of her help. I know that there was one night last week that she was punching these numbers in to about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, because I got up about 4 o'clock, saw all that work, and then I started going through and putting it on some of that. I certainly am here to answer any questions that you may have or concerns that you may have about our proposals.
I mean, my only main concern is watching that carryover go down every year. I know like a few years ago when we had different administration, we were at like an $8 million carryover. So that's almost cutting it in half. I think we need a plan, at least in the near future, to talk about how we're going to build that back up. And I get, I think this is a smart way to go about it, but it's kind of scary to see that drop the way it's dropping.
And Mrs. Harrington, I appreciate everything you said, but please understand the $8 million carryover got built up because of ESSER funding. And school districts were able to convert things to one-time ESSER funds and build some of those things up. So we had 19% of our budgets on carryover. And Mrs. Price, the state wants us somewhere about 5% or below on carryover. Am I correct, ma'am?
So just for perspective, the 4.4 million, it's about 10%. it is a lot lower. We were carrying over about 15% in past years, and exactly for the reason that Mr. Lavender has pointed out, we received a lot of ESSER money, and so districts understood that that money was one-time funding, and so we spent that money and saved our M&O and our capital. We are in the same boat as everyone. That money is gone. It expired last September, and so the reality is that Casa Grande School District, most of our expenses at that time were one-time expenses. So there are districts that continued to keep reoccurring costs, and so they're facing much different conversations. So this budget is good. It's healthy. The state used to limit us to a 3% carryover. So when you think that we're at 10, I know it seems bad and compared to, 15, but the reality is that these funds are fiscal funds. They're not intended to carry over. They're intended to support a district for a fiscal year. So, at some point, I feel that the state might come back and start limiting our carryover again and saying, if you don't use it, you lose it. You're capped at 3%. So I am with you as far as like just watching it dwindle down. It does get, nerve wracking, but 10% is still a healthy carryover. It's just not what we're used to seeing because of our ESSER funds. That makes.
Do we have a history of knowing kind of where that carryover has been over like a longer span? So we can kind of see, okay, what's normal for the district taking out the ESSER funds? So, we can kind of have an idea of.
We certainly could go back and do some historical research and see if we can come up with those numbers. Absolutely.
I appreciate the numbers and I appreciate where we are. We're in a different time than we were a couple of years ago when we had that influx of money. And I think that, it's very important to make sure that we're maintaining a healthy carryover. But these funds are to be used on annual basis. 10% is, just from a government standpoint, that's a pretty healthy amount. And I think that given everything that, we're competing for high quality and either recruitment or retaining our high quality our employees. And so, given the fact that we're always we're competing with charters and online and this and ALA coming into the community, whether it be next year or the year after. This helps us try to be, as I think you put it very accurately, very more competitive, or as competitive as we can be, to make sure we're retaining the best of the best and then trying to recruit that, because it's going to be, we don't know what the impact is going to be, ALA is going to have on us, but it's going to have an impact. And so I do appreciate, and this was a group effort from what I understand, the inputs from various groups to come to this, I think, conservative yet solid plan, in my opinion.
Yeah, we have IBN as a group of employees. We have certified staff in there. We have support staff in there. We have administrators. I think the total number of people is 32. And there was consensus. There was some give and take on both sides. One of the things that I felt was to put it out there. These are the challenges we had. This is what we're up against. This is what our Auditor General is telling us as far as spending and they countered back with a higher base pay increase request. And both Veronica and I said, we just cannot commit to this long term, not knowing next year what's going to be the impact. We do know that if we lose 500 students to ALA, we're also going to have to lay off staff. And who those staff will be, I mean, it'll be deep cuts. Not just classroom teachers, administration, support staff as well to get to that number. And then, looking at how to make those decisions on which positions to go. And so, but we don't know. We could be sitting here a year from now and have more students, and the growth that we've all anticipated is here. For the last 2 years, we've been telling all these apartments that are building in town are going to fill up our schools, and it has not happened.
And whether we have to let teachers go with that scenario, or they've moved on and gone over there too, because they're going to need teachers too. They're going to need teachers and admin staff and everything. So it's going to be competitive.
Yeah, and they have different hiring and HR rules that they have to follow than we do. And so that's one of the reasons sometimes that they can offer some of the things they do, because they don't have to do some of the things. And again, I'm not opposed to them. Choice is something that drives improvement on all sides. And I would be the first to tell you that both school districts, the elementary and high school districts, have improved their product because of the emergence of the charter schools here in town, because we've had to get better to remain competitive.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So the base pay increase, you said it's 1% for all eligible employees.
Yep.
What does that mean? Who's eligible?
Well, there are some staff that have reached to the max of their salary column. You know, because we have, if you look at the teacher salary column, for example, the BA number that I gave you, that's between, I'm looking at the number, 68,367 is the max. We have employees that are over the 68,367. They wouldn't be eligible for the 1%. They would be eligible, Veronica, help me, for a 0.5% is how our policy is kind of written. But, you know, this policy is enticed to get for people to go out and take the classes and do the professional learning they need to do. And a lot of the classes they can take are offered by Mrs. Diaz for free to be able to move over. And Mrs. Diaz is teaching what we know are the best practices that our teachers need to know.
Would this also include non-teachers?
You know,
Support
again,
staff?
you know how many
Facilities?
how many employees are at the absolute top of the salary? It's not a lot.
No, I don't know how many are at
So
the,
this would be if they're topped out.
This would be, they've reached their max and they have a place to go, sir.
Okay.
So if you reach, one of the things that we did a couple of years ago is it used to be, if you were in the district 25 years, you could, with a bachelor's degree, you could make $82,000. And if you were 25 years with a master's degree, you can make $84,000. Because we never said it was a square, not not an angle. And so it absolutely took any incentive for teachers on the bachelor's to go out and improve themselves and get the education. So that's when we as an IBN committee said, you know, somebody with a BA degree and somebody with a master's degree, there's a different skill level there. But after 25 years, a $2,000 difference doesn't. And so that's when we made the recommendation to cap BA at 67,000. But we didn't cap it the first year. It's been a couple year process to do that.
You know, being new here, I'm learning a lot about this.
Yeah.
Totally different from city government type.
Yeah.
So another question I have is, when we're bringing these teachers of staff in each year, when they're re-signing, I believe, would that 1% plus $2,000 increase happen? So where would they be gaining more if they're brought in each new year?
Yeah, so if I'm a classroom teacher, Mr. Baum, and I sign for next year, which all our employees have signed,
Okay.
Then you would be getting a 1% increase to the base.
Okay.
And also on top of the base is the increase to the 301 money. Of the couple, I think it was from 14,841 to 930. And then you'd be getting a $1,500 retention stipend and a $1,500 performance pay, which this year was $1,000. And you'd be getting an extra $1,400 increase to your base. So if you were here this year as a teacher, your increase is going to be $2,900 with a $1,500 retention bonus, the $500 increase. So that's 24, and then the 1,400. Those are the increases that we're recommending, and then the 1% to the base.
So the recruiting is would be for new staff
The
or?
recruiting are the new staff that we want to hire, and that's where we're recommending the 2% increase to the base. So our beginning salary says 54,988 rather than 52,988.
Okay.
And we recently offered some contracts to some teachers and did not get yeses because they're looking at other factors, not having to work Fridays and some of that. And so although when you really get to the middle of our salary schedule, we pay significantly more than the elementary district. It's not at the beginning of the salary schedule, which will be one of the challenges that we're going to face if we have to lay off. Because our middle of our salary schedule for the average is 76,000.
Okay.
So, and I don't ever want to say every one of I've told people every one of our employees is underpaid.
Good.
You know, I as a season ticket holder of the Arizona Cardinals, I am so offended that we're paying the Minnesota Vikings $36 million for our quarterback to be on their team. That we have that kind of money to just throw away. We don't have that luxury here in the district. That's our budget for the entire year, and that's what we're paying the Vikings quarterback. And so it's hard as a season ticket holder to continue to pay money to support that kind of decision making.
I know they got me this year too.
Yeah.
So
They better win.
Yeah, they better.
Because if the Minnesota Vikings win the Super Bowl, I think they ought to pay us $36 million.
do something. I think I'm with a lot of us that, we want the best qualified staff teaching our kids. I know being competitive is hard in each district. Each district is different. And learning as I'm doing here, it's important for me to realize what we need to do to make sure that we continue to have the ongoing staff, ongoing teachers who actually do care for our kids on a daily basis. And so however we can continue to feed them, put money in their pocket, that's important. Without hurting us in the long run, because I know this is the long run game, or actually short term, because every year is different funding wise. So I just want to make sure that our staff is taken care of financially to the best of our ability, that we can afford to make sure that we have the best qualified staff. And I'm not talking just teachers. I mean, it's everybody across the board.
Yeah.
For our communities.
Well, what I would tell you, Mr. Powell, is I think we have pushed it to the as far as we could have pushed it. And I know Mrs. Price, and I know that if I go to her and say we need to do some things, we need to find some money, we need to cut some things here, not salary wise, we can get some of those things done. And we're going to have to continue to do some of those things. And we face tough decisions, but ultimately, the most important resource that we have in this school district are the people that are in front of our kids every day.
Yep.
If we don't have quality individuals in front of our kids, we have several staff that are going back to the Philippines that we want to bring back one day. But if the immigration laws do not change, we would have to bring them back at a cost to the district of $100,000 to the federal government before we even started paying the employees. Mm-hmm. And so these type of policies are impacting our ability to recruit J1 teachers now. And the challenge with J1 teachers is, most of our interviews are done online. And so to really get to know the person until they get here and to know how they're going to adjust to the United States and all of those things is a real challenge. And that's why bringing back on H-1B is our desirable thing. But if we have to pay $100,000 per employee to have them on an H-1, we can't afford that. And so.
Okay.
If I could just speak. So I did put together a summary of carryovers that I can share with you all if you'd like to just see the data. So just going back to fiscal year 2016. So that was school year 2015 to 2016. Obviously, our M&O budget was not where it is now. So our M&O budget was roughly 24 million at that time, and our carryover was 3.8 million. Again, a 16%. When we had ESSER fundings, our range was more in 21, 22% carryover. So when you think about our budget now is 46 million, I mean, it's not exactly twice as much as what it was in 2016, but roughly we should be carrying over about $7.5 million would be a equitable kind of comparison. Something that needs to be mentioned is just the capital needs. We're having to spend more of it. So not only is it, the reduction in enrollment, ADM, that's going down, but we've had to spend more, for these capital purchases. So we take from M&O to cover those expenses, or, so there is just that need is that, we've put a Band-Aid on a lot of things for a while, and now unfortunately the time is where we have to replace, or it's not just a quick fix. So just to give you an idea, and like I said, I have the capital classroom site fund that I can, just for your reference.
Thank you.
I have another question. What about health insurance? How's that playing?
Mrs. Price is going to be talking to you about health insurance as far as the overall, all the recommendations that are coming from IBN. But I think the increase this year, Veronica, was about $100,000. Am I correct?
Roughly just, 110,000. We are maintaining our medical with Kairos, the carrier. We've opted to change our life insurance and our short-term disability to Symetra. There was a cost savings there. We are keeping Delta Dental, and we're changing from Avisis to MetLife for vision. All recommendations that came through the IBN process, but overall with everything, the rate increases, some cost savings by switching to other carriers. It was roughly about $110,000 overall. Same coverage. So we cover medical, dental, vision for our full-time employees. So it's still the same cost to us as far as what we're covering for our employees. We offer them teledoc service for dependents that live in their home. So we're still covering that. And we offer life insurance. So we're still covering everything. So that price includes keeping and maintaining what's currently being offered for employees. But we will have a full presentation for that in May.
Okay.
And one of the things, again, keeping things consistent, we don't ask our employees as far as their benefits to pay any of it. We cover 100% of the costs.
But once it goes into the family and
Once it goes to the dependent, then it does cost.
Okay.
Optional.
So the out-of-pocket expenses and the maximum, those things remain the same.
Okay.
One
more, I promise.
Yes, sir.
IBN, what does that stand for?
Interest-based negotiations.
And who all is involved with that? You said there are 30 or some.
There are about 32. Obviously, Mrs. Price, Mrs. Cole, Mrs. Daniels lead our district team in this. I typically am not involved, but I do come in for the budgetary stuff to work with them on the budgetary stuff. But they take on a range of items this year, from supplies to stipends, working conditions. You have the Casa Grande Educational Association President, Cedric Collins, who leads, who's a part of the group. You have teachers from Union, teachers from Vista. You have support staff from both. You have somebody from grounds, somebody from custodial. And so
Fully
it's just a wide range, and we get together. There's a process that we follow. We present what is the story, what are our interests, what are the solutions, and then we go to reach consensus. And so, and I'm very proud of the team this year. There's been situations where in the past where people dig in, meetings are done, things like that. But every group came in a very professional way, and we were able to, present our story, present their story, the challenges they're facing, and we came up to this. And, you know, we saw the need for some of this and we put it into more of the one-time costs rather than the ongoing cost, knowing the potential of what could be ahead.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, or
No.
concerns?
Tapped out. I'm good.
You sure? All right, then.
Sorry, almost 8 o'clock. I'm not used to these long meetings.
We ain't got to the longest issue tonight yet.
No. We could make it longer.
No, we're good. We're good.
All right,
9 minutes and counting.
right. So we got to get moving. All right, then with that, then is there a motion to approve the fiscal year 2027 IBM recommendation for salaries and benefits?
I will move to approve the fiscal year 2027 IBN recommendations for salaries and benefits as presented.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
I want to thank each of you for the support. I will be proud to share with our staff tomorrow that your support for this. So thank you.
Continuing support.
Yes, sir.
Continuing
Yes,
support. Make sure.
I'll get the words right.
Yes.
All right, 5.4, the fiscal year 2025 annual consolidated financial report and single audit reporting package.
Sorry. Attached, you see 3 files, the ACFR, which is the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report, the Single Audit, and then the USFR questionnaire compliance. So just real quick snapshot of what each of those 3 reports represent. The Annual Comprehensive is exactly that. It's the full detailed picture of our financial health for the district. The single audit report is going to focus on federal funds. Any school district that spends over $750,000 in federal funds has to have a single audit completed. And then the USFR compliance questionnaire, that is going to be a self-assessment questionnaire that the auditors help and prepare on our behalf. It does not address all of the requirements of the USFR, but it does verify whether or not there's an acceptable degree of compliance. So that's specific to the state of Arizona, what we as school districts are required to complete. Hopefully you all have a handout. So again, it's just a quick glance summary. So it takes all of those reports, all of those numbers. The questionnaire is going to be our findings, right? We talk about deficiencies. Those are going to be what the auditor said. Here are the things that we found that were out of compliance and what needs to be corrected. So what I did was just kind of create a quick glance summary comparing years 23, 24, and 25. So you can see that there's 18 categories. They range from budgeting, accounting, payroll, student records, how many questions are associated with every category, and then our findings for each of the 3 years as a comparison. We had a total of 28 findings this year, or in 2025, which is the same as 24. So which is a lot less than 23, which was 46. So we are moving in the right direction, still things that need to be cleaned up. Never, there's always room for growth, right? And so not all of the 171 questions are applicable to our district. So the bottom section just kind of talks about the significant deficiency that we have and a material weakness that we have. So it's over internal controls. And so we had to write a corrective action plan, submit it to the Auditor General for this. One of these is about our capital assets, which we have known has needed work. We last year hired a new position to take that over because it kind of just moved from person to positions, and with the turnover, one of those things that got pushed onto the business services department. So we do have a new position specifically for the capital assets, who has undergoing training along with our director of finance, Sharon Rodriguez. So we are moving in the right direction. It's just a long process, right? It's going to take time to get those deficiencies taken care of. The other was in regards to our reconciliation for our student accounts. We have pinpointed it to bank fees that have not been reimbursed to those accounts for years. And so we are talking, whenever we have the outside banks and they charge us a monthly fee, the district is supposed to reimburse those fees. It's just been coming out of the money that's been sat in there. So no one ever realized that there was a need to refund it because there's always been a balance in those accounts. So we will get it corrected. We'll essentially take this year and reimburse those funds appropriately so that that deficiency will fall off as well in the next audit. Pages 2 to 3 just give you a little glimpse as to what the finding was. So if we look at the first one, accounting records, there were 4 questions. We had 1 finding in that category, and it was specific to coding errors. So the USFR gives us very specific guidelines on how to code something. And so one of the selections that the auditors made, there was a coding error. And so it's just, again, instead of going through that, long list of report, it's just a quick glance. This is our findings for 25. It's really an acceptance that that we have to go through this approval process. So if you have any questions, I can answer. If at any point, you want to see more or have questions once you've had time to look over the summaries, I'd be glad to answer anything.
Want to have any questions for Mrs. Price?
Yeah, just a real comment. So we're looking at one significant deficiency, one material weakness, but the other findings were insignificant. I won't say insignificant, but were minor and just kind of bringing to our attention so we can strengthen our processes.
Correct.
And we have those plan of actions for addressing those. It sounds like the 2.
Yes, and they are submitted in the attachment, so you can also see what we submitted to the Auditor General's office.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
And I would remind the board in 2023, when we had the 46 findings, board members received the email from the Auditor General letting you know that we were in a corrective plan of action and threatening to take money from us and all that. And Mrs. Price, Mrs. Rodriguez, and the team has done a fantastic job of getting us off the corrective action, getting those numbers down so you don't receive threatening emails anymore.
And if I may, I would also like to acknowledge our business services, our student compliance. It's not, it's not just finance, it's student compliance, it's grants, it's IT, it's a whole group effort. And so we did receive a certificate of excellence in financial reporting from ASBO International. Essentially, they're just saying that we've been awarded for excellence in financial reporting and transparency. So we're not perfect, but we are reporting and we are transparent about what we are doing. So we're very proud of that as well.
All right. If that is all, then we can move on to receiving a motion to approve the comprehensive financial report as presented for the year ending June 30, 2025.
Mr. President, I'll move to approve the annual comprehensive financial report and single audit reporting package for the year ending June 30th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes. All right, 5.5, school year 2027 Specialized Education of America. This would be a service agreement.
Yes, President Hayes, members of the board. As we think about our services that we provide for our exceptional students, we have level A, which are services that are provided in the classroom with classroom support. Level B is removing the student from the classroom and providing support outside of the classroom. Level 3 is a much more intensive outside of the classroom support. And then level D are for students that are assigned to a separate classroom. And so this last year, we've really struggled with our students that have been diagnosed with emotional disabilities and providing a program that's meeting our needs meeting the students' needs. And so through the leadership of Mrs. Daniels, we're recommending a change in provider into a program that's a little bit different approach. Ms. Daniels and Ms. Preston, is there anything else you'd like to say to the board? Heather Preston, our ESI director, is here as well.
So we're really looking at the changes as being very positive. There will be more direct support that is consistent. We'll have a full-time principal rather than sharing a principal with, as we talked about a couple months ago, with a principal over with the elementary school. The curriculum will be more direct. We won't use subject or online curriculum. The students will be taught by their highly qualified teachers. And so we're looking forward to that. Mrs. Preston has visited a couple of the schools and she found it very engaging, very positive, and we look forward to the changes that we're going to see.
Awesome.
And we recommend approval.
All right. Anyone have any questions? All right, then we can receive a motion for approval.
I will move to approve the Specialized Education of Arizona, Inc. SESI service agreement for SY 2027 as presented.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mrs. Hayes?
Yes. All right, moving on to 5.6 ASBA political agenda.
And so attached to your is the current Arizona School Boards Association agenda for this year. And Mr. Wilkie asked to put this on the agenda tonight to get some feedback in his role as our liaison to the ASBA Policy Advisement Board. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Wilkie.
Thank you. So ASB is the Arizona School Board Association. Every year they send out what they have as a political agenda, priority issues, and they ask all school boards to just weigh in and provide feedback for them. So that's what we're doing tonight, as we've been asked to do that. And so really, I guess what we're looking for I'm looking for is what they all want to do with this, and having the opportunity to look through. First of all, I take exception. Political agenda is not necessarily my recommendation. One recommendation I'd like to make them, it's not a political agenda, it's really priorities. And my take is there's a ton of things here. Do they all need to be here? And are they, I think it's diluting their ability to go in a meaningful manner and to really promote the key issues that I think all school boards can get behind. And some of the language might be misconstrued as being political in nature. And so I will use an example. Let's see. One of them is defend against the efforts to limit free speech of rights of school employees. Well, of course, nobody wants to limit the right of freedom of speech. It just needs to be done in an appropriate and location. If you're a math teacher, we all expect you to teach math. And that's what you're there for. English. There are appropriate times in like civics, government. Obviously, you can introduce. You're going to hopefully, if you're an instructor, you're talking about that. There are political parties in the country, and there are differences among those, but not perpetuating or pushing their personal beliefs on our students. That's what I think we're. So when they say against the efforts to limit freedom of speech of school employees, I think that from my standpoint to the board, I'd like us to recommend, take that out. You know, you go off campus, you're at home, you're not at an official function, you're not on school property, absolutely get out there and wave any kind of, banner you want, but not on school time, not on school property, because again, we're supposed to be neutral here. This is all about educating our students. It's not about promoting one agenda or another. That has no place in the schools. Let's see. There was also one that's not. They mention, increasing the diversity of teaching workforce and fill difficult positions, including CTED instructors. I know that the word diversity has been taken as a 4-letter word, and I think that from this point, it's very volatile. And increase the diversity of teaching workforce. Right now, we're just trying to find qualified teachers, right, and staff. I think organically it will take place, because as soon as we start supporting our teachers more, raising those levels of salary, their wages, giving them more support in the classrooms, we're going to get more and more people that are going to come to become the profession, and that is organically going to happen. Diversity, I mean, what do you mean by diversity? And so I think what they should be doing, and this is again just talking to the board, is increasing the quality, promoting legislation that helps draw more people to the profession, support the profession more. And as far as diversity, you don't want to get down to splitting. I mean, what's the demographics of high school teachers, elementary school teachers? If you're talking the split of male, female, Caucasian, Black, Hispanic, I mean, you start doing that, that's not going to help us fill these spaces. We're going to need all hands on deck, and we're going to need it's all about qualified individuals. I don't care. Just be that good quality person, that good teacher that we need to get in front of our students. That's what we should be focusing on, and not adding these, diversity will work its way out to a point. We need to get the right people in there. So those are just two examples I wanted to share with you. Definitely not against diversity. I think diversity we all benefit from, but let it happen organically, and let's remove those obstacles that are adding to maybe some of this, preventing or obstacles for some of those demographics to actually want to come into the teaching field. So that's my.
So I have maybe a way to move forward, and I definitely appreciate you taking the lead on this. Thank you. Maybe we can have an opportunity to read this at home and actually fully look at it, as opposed to trying to do it here and feel rushed about it. And then we can maybe send you some feedback that you can then collectively take back.
I think that's the motion, is to just authorize me to provide the feedback from all the board members. If that's worded correctly, Mr. Lavender. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. So any other questions or comments? All right, then do we have a motion to delegate Mr. Wilkie to communicate and advocate our board as a whole, to ASBA regarding their 2026 political agenda?
I will move to approve item 5.6 as presented.
All right.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes. All right, so then that carries. So
Mr. President, the last comment I have is just please get me your thoughts on this.
Yes.
They have I think a deadline within the next 2 weeks.
All right, so
Okay,
communicate
takes-
those questions, comments, or concerns to Mr. Wilkie sometime prior to that, sooner than later.
Sooner than later, it'll be great.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Number 5.7, donations, Mr. Lavender.
Yes, President Hayes, members of the board, this month we received some very generous donations for We the People. We received a $2,000 donation from an anonymous donor, a $2,000 donation from Lucid Motors, a $1,000 donation from the Casa Grande Kiwanis Club, $2,500 donation from Rural Engagement Arizona, a $250 donation for Fitzgibbons Law. Again, we want to encourage members of the public, as they're completing their taxes, you can still make donations through tuition tax credits to support this as well. And if you're married, up to $400 credit, and if you're not married, a $200 credit. Although they're going to Washington, D.C. this week, they still will have some money to raise when they get back. We also received a $30 donation to the Vista Grande High School track team from Barbara Jones. For the Casa Grande Union and boys tennis team, received $500 donation from Jack and Doris Ennis, $500 donation from Crimson Sky Farms, $500 from CG Autoplex Incorporated, and $400 from Kent and Christina Volkmer. And then for the Casa Grande class of 2027, we received 2 boxes of peanut bags, 80 appetizer cards valued at $720 from the Texas Roadhouse. That's obviously for graduation night. Our Casa Grande Union Robotics team received a $2,000 donation from Lucid Motors, and PACE received a $500 micro grant from Chick-fil-A. We recommend acceptance of all these items.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve acceptance of the donations as presented?
I'll make a motion we approve as presented.
A second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Barrington?
Yes.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes. All right. Consent agenda. Does any board member want to remove anything else from the consent agenda to discuss individually? All right. With that, then, do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda in its entirety?
I move to approve the consent agenda in its entirety as presented.
I'll second.
All right.
Mr. Wilkie.
We have a motion and a second. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Mr. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes. All right, this is the time typically set aside for public comment, but we have received no requests from the public to speak, so we can move on to adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. Mary, please call for the vote.
Mr. Wilkie?
Yes.
Mrs. Harrington?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
And Mr. Hayes?
Yes. Thank you, everyone, for coming. This meeting's adjourned.
12 minutes.
Oh, it's my fault. I asked all the questions.